What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the Battle Card Carnival event that was added into the game overnight with the latest update. We're going to be giving you guys all the tips that you need to know in order to properly grind on this thing and hopefully acquire the ever rare and ever valuable BS generic memory. But before we get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe if you enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content such as this. And let's get into the video. Cue the intro. Alright, you guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, like I said in the introduction, we are going to be talking about the latest Battle Card Carnival event to be added into the game overnight with the 1.18 update. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about kind of my opinions on this board, and then we're going to get into some miscellaneous advanced tips and tricks on how to acquire points towards this mileage. However, keep in mind, you guys, this is not going to be a situation where I'm endeavoring to make a comprehensive list of all the different ways that you can acquire battle cards in this game, because if I were to try and do that, not only would it be extremely tedious, but it would be obnoxiously long. So I'm not going to be doing that today, but I am going to be giving some advanced tips specifically for players that may or may not have ever seen a Battle Card Carnival event since joining the game. It's been a while since one of these came out, and so therefore I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of beginners and intermediates that may not have ever seen one of these. So I wanted to go ahead and cover some of the more advanced tips today. So therefore, with that being said, if you guys have tips of your own on how to get points towards these mileages and want to leave those in the comments section, I'm sure there's plenty of new players out there that would appreciate it. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about my opinions of the board itself. When it comes to the board itself, in my opinion, it really comes down to where you're at in the game as far as the amount of value you're going to see with this. You know, for me personally, as a veteran, I'm not seeing a ton of value here personally, because when you take a look at this thing, most of the stuff on here is going to be mystery boxes. If you take a look at like your imprint stones, and then really if you go deeper, this is an HP stone. This guy here is of course going to be just a regular plus imprint stone, and it's a mystery box. These guys here are just going to be for your Element Fest memories, and so on and so forth. So none of this stuff is anything too crazy in my opinion. Of course, if you're a beginner or an intermediate, then there's going to be plenty of value here, but at the same time, for us veterans, it's not anything too special. The biggest reason why you'd be doing this in general, though, is for this Boss Syndrome generic memory, and that's going to be what we're going to mainly be focusing on. Now, as far as how you're going to acquire points towards this mileage, as you guys can see here, this is going to be all the different ways that you can acquire points. Now, basically what you're going to be doing with this board or with these types of events is you're going to be just picking up battle cards, and whatever rarity you pick up is going to dictate the amount of points you're going to get towards the mileage. And of course, you need 80,000 points to finish it and get that generic memory. And being that we only have 5 days to do so, yeah, that's definitely something. So with that being said, we're going to talk about some of the different ways that you can acquire points towards this. So let's go ahead and get into that aspect. Now, the first thing that I'm going to go ahead and talk about here is actually going to be, I'd meant to go through here this week anyway, because this week actually ended up being the week where I knew I had a bunch of these that I needed to finish some of these missions for. So I'm going to be doing that today myself so I can acquire some of those extra rubies I've been kind of waiting and holding on to and just kind of sitting on. So that'll be nice since I'm a little bit low by comparison to where I like to normally be. But with that out of the way, I digress. Let's talk about the battle card dungeon. So this is going to be mainly where you're going to be grinding on this thing, unless you just have obnoxious amounts of tokens or, you know, just tickets in general for battle cards, which is something else we'll kind of talk about in this video. But when it comes to the place that you're going to be grinding on the most for this event, it's definitely going to be the battle card dungeon. So let's go ahead and show you guys kind of what we're looking at. Now, if you remember, we had 0 points on that mileage, so you'll be able to kind of see here what we're going to be taking a look at. But I'll just go ahead and do a full tenner on this thing and burn a bunch of AP and show you guys exactly what you can expect. So we'll go ahead and burn 10 of our skip tickets here, do 10 runs, and we'll go ahead and see what happens. So as you guys can see, I went ahead and got, from what I could tell there, it went pretty fast. I only got a 5-star card in there, but we didn't get anything too crazy in here. Not anything overly nuts. Okay, yeah, so that's basically what we got there. So if we go ahead and we jump back over to the Battle Card Carnival tab as Moo Player thinks about it for a moment, we'll go ahead and see how much we acquired for just 10 auto clear runs from the Battle Card Dungeon. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So boom, there you go. We got 600 points. Yeah. So it means that you are going to be needing to grind on that thing quite a bit, and depending on what your luck is for the drops on some of those rarities on those cards, it's going to take a lot of AP for you guys to get through this thing. So that is going to be one way you can get through this. It's going to be the most reliable way that you can go ahead and farm this thing in general. So that is going to be the first big thing you're going to want to do, is go into the Battle Card Dungeon and try and grind on the most difficult tier that you possibly can in that dungeon. Otherwise, you're going to find that it's going to be quite tough to finish this thing off by the end of it if you don't do so, especially if you're not somebody that's a veteran that has just a ton of those tickets and tokens laying around. Now, with that being said, when it comes to tokens, let's go ahead and talk about the tokens real quick. So basically, if you guys take a look here, we actually can get our free summon out of the way for the day too. Basically, tokens that go towards the Unified Banner card banner are going to be very useful here, and there's different ways that you can pick those up, and they're all going to be in the exchange shop for the most part, which I'll go ahead and show you guys. But as you see there, we got a 4-star card, so we got 40 points. That's one thing. But you're going to see that I have some of these time-limited tokens down here. Now, where did I acquire those? Well, if you go ahead and you take a look at your exchange shop right now, if you've been keeping up with the channel, I've been telling you guys to try and grind as many points for this thing here as possible, because you're going to have these that you can buy 3 times a day. This is a big deal for this. Make sure that you pick up those card tokens every day. I'm just going to go ahead and pick these up while we're talking. But those card tokens that are available in this Rush Dungeon exchange shop currently are very important for this, because they're going to offer up more ways that you can go ahead and acquire points towards your mileage for your Battle Card Carnival for free. So that is one big way that you can go ahead and pick up points towards this potentially. Another thing that's in your exchange shop tab, there's going to be several, but if you take a look here for Purple Dust, you can also pick up tokens. That's another thing that you can do. You're also going to have these tickets here that you can pick up for your normal dust, which is what I'm going to do here. So that's going to be something I'm going to do, and then I'll just go ahead and pick that up while we're at it. So that's going to be another thing that you can do. And a lot of these exchange shop tabs are going to be really important for this. So like for instance, if you go in here, you're going to have plenty of different ways that you can pick up these different battle cards. There's lots of different things that you can do here. So definitely go through. You should be doing this every day anyway, as far as going through your exchange shop is concerned and picking up some of the different things that you can out of here for these different currencies. So you'll just want to go through and look at some of these and make sure that you pick up some of these battle cards, because you're going to notice that there are going to be plenty of different ways that you can do so as you go through here. So that's going to be one major way that you guys can pick up some easy points towards this. Now, another thing that I would like to go ahead and show you guys here is actually going to be in the battle card tab. If you go down here, and I should have plenty enough to go ahead and do this for you guys. So if you want to go ahead and go in here, the next thing that you can do is, if you have a bunch of these cards that you can fodder off, definitely go ahead and do so. So like for instance, I got all these 3-star cards, right? If I go in here and I do simple combination and I go ahead and do that, boom, there you go. I acquired 56 points towards my Carnival. And you can go ahead and go up in here and do this with all these cards and pick up some easy points pretty quick. This is a really easy way to get a bunch of points potentially, depending on what you get there. I got 400 for those. So this is something that I would definitely recommend that you guys go in and do. This will be very easy for you to do. Shouldn't take you much of any time at all, and you'll get a decent chunk of points. And like I said, depending on what they drop for you, you'll get a different amount each time. Now, another thing that you can do, and this is something that I can't do personally right now because I'm pretty much up to date, but if you have a bunch of battle cards in your inbox, go into your inbox and start claiming them. If you claim those cards, you will get points towards the mileage. So that is another thing that you can go ahead and do, and that will be very easy and very beneficial towards your mileage overall. So those are some miscellaneous tips that you can use in order to get through this thing. Another thing that you can do that a lot of people may or may not think about sometimes is, if you go in here and you go to the battle cards that you can craft, you can go ahead and craft these different battle cards, and you can pick up points that way as well. So if you take a look through here, let's see, what do I want to do? I'll just go ahead and create that one. So if I go ahead and do that, 200 points right off the bat. Easy peasy. So if you've got a bunch of these currencies laying around for some of these cards that you may or may not ever even look at, go ahead and do it, you guys, because you are going to be able to pick up points as well that way. Unfortunately, I stay pretty up to date on this stuff and use these as fodder cards a lot, so I don't have a lot of points, unfortunately, there for those, but it is what it is. So as we've gone through here and done that, now we have gotten ourselves this item here, so we can go ahead and claim the rewards, and if Moo Player catches up with us, we will have ourselves an extra bit of gold. So those are going to be some pretty easy ways that you guys can go ahead and go through here. The biggest thing that you're going to want to do, like I said, is you're going to want to really just grind on the battle card dungeon. As you guys saw, depending on the rarity of the drop, you're going to get differing amounts there. But as you can see, it isn't necessarily as difficult to pick up points for this thing as some people might think. It's just going to require you to know all the different ways that you can do so. And like I said, there's plenty of different ways that you can acquire points towards this. In fact, there's one more that I can show you. Oh, that's going to be big right there. That is actually clutch. So we'll see what that one is here. I'm not overly worried about it, honestly. Okay, so it's a Kaya set card. But once we got, hey, this is going to be a really nice chunk of points. That was really, really good. That was awesome. Okay. 6,500 points, you guys. So that is really big on here. So basically, if we go through here, I've got more of these. We'll do it again. If you just want to go ahead and use up all these different resources, you guys, when was the last time they really added anything to the unified banner anyway? So honestly, I'm just going to skip that. That one's definitely nowhere near as good. But honestly, go through here, you guys, and use as many of these different things as you want. If you want to hold on to some of the things like your tokens and things until maybe like the last day and see how much you can grind out on the dungeon and so on, so maybe you can save some of those resources, that's another option that's available to you. You know, you can even go through here if you have any crystals. You can go ahead and use those here and probably get a battle card or two that'll count towards your mileage, so that's another thing. If you go through here, if you've got a bunch of tickets and things available to you, like I've got this guy here that I'll go ahead and use, this will also count. So there's a million different ways that you can do this, you guys. Like I said, it's just that I don't want to go through and do like a full list of every single different way because it would just take forever, because again, there's just a million different ways you can do this. But hopefully now that you've, oh, that'll be nice, we'll skip that. 3,000 more points. So as you guys can see, it's really not as difficult as you might think. You know, it's going to require a little bit of luck, and of course everybody's luck's going to be different on this stuff, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be anything that's overly crazy. The biggest thing I think a lot of people are going to run into is going to be AP for the battle card dungeon, because the battle card dungeon does eat a lot of AP. So that is one thing that I think a lot of people are probably going to run into. I think that's about going to do it for what I had available for those. Yeah, so now we'll go ahead and revisit this thing. Boom. See, I've already got almost that entire top row done. So anyway, you guys, those are going to be some of the miscellaneous different ways you can do this. So like I said, if you want to go in and combine your battle cards away, so combine away your 3-star, your 4-star cards, and your simple combination, just do it real quick. You can pick up a lot of points that way if you have a bunch of those cards laying around that you don't need. If you have a bunch of cards in your inbox, you can go ahead and acquire those and go ahead and get points that way as well. And then beyond that, you can go in and you can do some of those different crafting menus, the exchange shops, and then of course the other big way that you're going to be able to do this is going to be through your summoning system and so on. So there's a lot of different ways that you guys can pick up your different points towards this. It's really just going to come down to making sure that you're kind of aware of what those ways are. So hopefully this was something that was beneficial for you guys and it helped you. As you can see, as we went through here, I did very little and I was still able to get quite a few points. And again, I got a little lucky on that 1 pull for that 9 pull, but at the same time, you know, it's going to be one of those things where really luck is going to be the deciding factor on how much you're going to have to grind on this thing. And when it comes to the battle card dungeon, the last point, like I had mentioned, you know, with the battle card dungeon, if you just want to grind on that thing and wait and save some of your resources like your tokens until the last day to maybe see if you can save some of that stuff, then go for it. That's not a big deal. You know, there's no rush on getting to the end of this thing unless you just really need to have that generic memory right this minute. But really, you could probably save yourself a few things in the long run if you just take the wait and see approach and see how much luck you have with the battle card dungeon by the end of the event. But that's up to you. So anyway, you guys, that's just some of my tips on the Battle Card Carnival. Leave some of yours in the comment section down below. I hope you guys found this informative. If you did, smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. You all take care. Peace.
Continue.